Indiana County, WCCS 101.1 FM and AM 1160. The Pirates, broadcaster Joe Block, brought to us by Diamond Drug, Diamond Medical Supply, and our conversation by Marcus and Mack, a law firm representing injured people. Joe, good morning.
Hey, Todd, how are you?
I'm wonderful, enjoying a beautiful day here in Western PA. I am assuming, because we think of Bradenton, Florida as being nirvana, I'm assuming it's another gorgeous day there, too.
Yeah, I'm sheepish to admit. Yeah, it's been about 80 just about every single day. Sunny. We had one day where we had a little bit of rain in the morning and it went away. I mean, it's been probably the best weather we've had in spring training since I've been down here. So, wow. Not to rub it in, but hopefully some of that comes through the radio to you. It warms you up and gets that spring really ready. Because we're right around the corner for that up north.
Oh, we really are. We really are. One of the things that's interesting to me about watching the Pirates in spring training is the way the outfielders have to battle the sun, but especially the wind. It's not an easy place to play baseball, is it?
Yeah, and in my in the olden days, I worked in Milwaukee, and they train in Arizona, and it's not much different. Maybe a little less wind usually in Arizona, but. Spring training, yes, it's warm, so you can play outside in March. That's the good thing. But the elements do play a factor sometimes, and so that's why we typically warn you, this guy had a double his last time up, but it was really just a pop-up that he dropped. Or this guy hit a home run, but really the wind took it, and it was just a pop-up. So once in a while you see stuff like that. So you always have to take everything with a grain of salt a little bit. We try to help you understand what's taking place because, it could be real tricky, especially at those outfields here in Florida.
Yeah, and we're just evaluating guys based upon what we want to see. The actual talent evaluators, they're the ones that really have to make sure they get it right, and that can be a bit of a challenge. Hey, Joe, we've got some guys that are opening some eyes in Florida with the Pirates. Mr. Castro has been doing some really special things, hasn't he?
Yeah, Rodolfo Castro is a 21-year-old infielder who probably would start, I would think, at Double-A. He hasn't yet played at Double-A for the Pirates in their farm system. And, the thing with him hitting that grand slam yesterday, he's hit 2 home runs this week. These are the guys that are finishing the back ends of the games. And I was thinking about it, that, maybe last year and in some recent years, too, the guys finishing up ball games for the Pirates in spring training would be 31 years old, not 21. These are guys on the downside just hoping for one last chance. Maybe with not even great track records in the major leagues either. The guys that are finishing up these games are guys who have had good minor league careers so far, in a year or 2 or 3 since being signed or drafted. And they're 21 years old, they're 22 years old, and the national writers have a lot of these guys as some of the top prospects in all of baseball. And these are the guys that we're getting to see in spring training. And it's really been a much deeper prospect pool for the Pirates that we've seen in spring training more than any other recent year, and that's really fun to see because these are the guys that it's not in 4 years or 5 years, but next year, maybe even at the end of this year, but next year or in 2 years, these are some of the guys that are going to be the pillars, the building blocks of the better Pirates teams going forward. So it's fun to be able to watch them right now while they're on their way up and see what they're capable of.
Yeah, it's really interesting to me to watch some of these fellows because we have not seen them. They're mostly recent acquisitions by Ben Cherington, and so we're just learning about them. We'll get to go up the road just a piece to Altoona and watch some of these guys play baseball, and so we're so looking forward to hearing the names of Nick Gonzalez and Peguero and some of these other fellows. O'Neill Cruz is struggling a bit there in Florida, but that's, you get to this point of the season, you shuffle things up. The interesting thing to me about this training camp as well is that there are many, many fewer players who are actually there because of the staggered start to spring training. So some fellows that we might have seen in exhibition games were not, and that means we get an extended look at some other guys.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing that's different this year, which I really have enjoyed, is the back ends of games are not filled by minor league players, guys that probably will never make the major leagues, but just need to fill out the innings. Either they've ended the games early, or you're seeing these prospects, bona fide, the best guys in the farm system for each individual team, and it's fun to see the guys on the other teams too. So I really like the style of spring training this year, but it's obviously for health and safety, for to spread out everything. For instance, the Pirates have 72 or 73 players in camp, but maybe 19 or 20 of those guys are primarily over at Pirate City, and so they can spread out the other, say, 50 guys, which is still a smallish number for spring training. Usually they'll bring in the low 60s and spread those guys out over at Lecom Park. So that's been the idea, and then once the Pirates break camp, go north, then the minor leaguers will come in and split time between the two facilities, and they'll spread them out a little bit. So that's kind of what they're trying to do this year, so we can have a minor league season, so Altoona can have some baseball, maybe 120 games this year starting in early May, and we can see a lot of these guys play baseball that are going to be playing baseball in a Pirate uniform maybe by as early as next season.
Yeah, this early part of the season is going to be really interesting because depth will be a question. Because not everybody is in, and when the depth throughout the system, when somebody gets called up to the big leagues because of an injury or a player who's struggling, and the minor leagues really haven't started yet, it's going to take them a while to get guys ready to go. So they'll need to get them ready here in spring training. Joe Block with us, our Pirates broadcaster this morning, and we're talking about some of the fellas who have been impressing, and we were talking about young guys. But Joe, does it not impress you as it does me? How good Jacob Stallings is, especially for a guy that was considered to be not really much of a prospect. Jacob Stallings is a really, really good Major League ball player, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean he's a starting catcher in the major leagues on I'd say at least half the teams, and including the Pirates, and he's a catcher. He's one of the two catchers on all 30 teams in baseball. I mean he's really a Gold Glove finalist last year, can hit a little bit. I mean, he really hit lefties. He hit a long home run yesterday off of Matt Moore. He was the only base runner to reach off Matt Moore, who's not a household name, but I think he'll be one of the better pitchers in the National League this season for the Phillies. Came over from Japan. But that's what's fun about what the Pirates are doing too. Is we talk about the 21-year-olds, and that's important. Those are the number one guys that you're looking forward to saying, okay, this is going to be the youth movement that finally brings sustained winning to the Pirates, not just for a couple of years, but for year after year after year. Yes, those are the guys. Those are the important guys. But every winning team has 2, 3, 4, 5 guys that maybe are in their late 20s or in Stallings' case 30, 31 I think he is now. And that's when they blossom. They're 28, 29, 30, and nothing kind of went right for them in their career. Maybe there was injuries or maybe they made an adjustment coming to a new team. And then they become really good major league players. And so the Pirates are auditioning for those types of guys, too. And you're seeing that with some of these players that, the Pirates are finding some guys, too, in addition, that are hitting their strides a little bit later, and they can still be really big pieces, too.
Yeah, I think Stallings as a developer of the pitching staff is going to be really important for the Pirates. All right, Joe, give me, in our closing moments here together, give me your handicap on Pirates shortstop and Pirates center fielder.
If Anthony Alford is healthy, I think he starts the year as the starting center fielder. He's got fantastic tools, and I think just letting him play every day, we'll see if he can be that player in the major leagues that the Blue Jays always thought he was. At shortstop, I think right now it's a toss-up between Kevin Newman and Eric Gonzalez. Both have hit well in spring training, but Newman has hit more in the 2019 season, so maybe he gets a leg up because Gonzalez can play so many positions. It's nice to have him off the bench, that you can use him as a substitute, perhaps. So I would think it's a two-man race right now in short.
Cole Tucker get traded?
No, I think he hasn't had a lot of time at AAA. He got caught up in an emergency in the 2019 season, so I think he needs a little seasoning, but he might be up and be the starting shortstop by May. Who knows? Yeah. Or June. Yeah,
good point. Joe Block, thanks so much for spending some time with us this morning. Now make sure you've got the suntan on that head of yours. You need the lotion.
That's not likely to happen. I'm not really good at that.
Okay. Hey, Joe, thanks a lot. Have a great day today.
Oh, that sounds great, Todd. Thanks again.
Bye now. There's Joe Block of the Pittsburgh Pirates joining us this morning. Those guys are always so pleasant, aren't they? And yeah, you might say it's because they're there in the Florida sunshine enjoying the day, but they're just good guys.